This is crazy that we're able to do this.
Hi, we're Art and Bree. 4 years ago, we left the city to buy a 100-year-old farm to turn it into our own productive homestead where we can grow our own food, build a healthy life, and raise our kids just how we like.
If you want to join us in our homesteading adventure on our small farm, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I didn't bring a big enough basket.
I texted my dad, I quit my job. And he texted me back a few minutes later and said, is everything okay? Are you okay? Which I didn't feel very affirmed by that, but I went back and read my text, and I have this old stupid phone. And I had imagined this longer
Meaning it's
text.
not a smartphone.
Yeah, I have this phone here, and I had imagined this longer text that I wanted to type out, but I think I started it, and then I was like, it's taking too long for me to text this text on this old phone. So I just sent him, I quit my job. I looked back at my text, I was like, oh, that's a little bit blunt. He thought that, I'd gotten in a fight with my boss or who knows what and just quit. High five.
Good job, honey.
It's super exciting. I quit my job as a nurse to work on our house and at least temporarily go full-time as a YouTuber, homesteader, husband, father. This is crazy that we're able to do this and that it's not an insane thing to do at this time, and that we have this luxury of taking this one pressure point out of our life so that we can actually achieve the things we need to achieve right now and have more time.
We are very excited, but we also have mixed feelings. But mostly we're just excited because this means that he can build our house. I mean, if you look at our lives, it's like, where would we have time to build a house on top of just our regular life? Initially, our thoughts were that Arthur would take a leave of absence from work and then go back to his job, which would have been ideal in some ways. But ultimately, what has worked out is that Arthur has quit his job.
We've been in this place a few times with YouTubing where we were posting really consistently and our income was just kind of creeping up slowly with our views. And I think 2 of those times we said, hey, if I quit my nursing job now, we could probably make this work. But both of those times we didn't really want to quit nursing. We didn't want to lose that stability, and we kind of lost our nerve. I mean, we never really intended to quit.
Well, I think it was me. I didn't have peace. I don't know. Maybe you too. Maybe if you had had more peace, you would have just done it anyway, but
I was scared.
I had never had peace for a couple of reasons. I've actually always enjoyed Arthur having a job, and I think it's good for him to have things outside of the homestead that he's doing, just for his own mental stimulation. Also, it's just what we had always done. And then, of course, the stability of a job over YouTube, because YouTube is not a stable place, has always been a really good thing for our family. Plus, of course, the insurance has always been nice. Even though it wasn't that great insurance, it was still insurance that was affordable. We have made this decision, shockingly, with a lot of peace. And I think that is ultimately, besides just the facts, like, okay, we can financially do it. Okay, you need to take some kind of drastic measure in order to fix our house, to have more time to do that. But even those things, practically weren't enough for us. And we really prayed about it. And I just felt so much peace about it. Now I waver on that some since, but we ultimately are really excited.
I actually regret not quitting my job earlier.
Really?
Like a year ago.
Okay.
Because what happened actually every time that we got to that point where we were working really hard, working consistently, we had built up our views and income on YouTube. Every time that happened, when I had that thought, oh, I could quit my job now, I got burned out.
Yeah, and I
completely burned out. And you all remember, if you were there, it was August, I think 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we disappeared.
3, because I was pregnant with
3 years ago, we disappeared, and I didn't even post a video. I just was like, I am done posting videos. And I didn't post a video for a month. You all thought that we, drove into a lake or something. And
really, we just gotten pregnant and we're exhausted.
We were exhausted, but we just couldn't handle it. So at that point, I wish we had quit back then. I think that we'd actually be better off now. I'm actually going to post a video either tomorrow or the next day that's kind of how we did this and what I think made us successful. That's going to go into more of the technical details and kind of the story of that span. So check that video out. So here's where we were just a few weeks ago. We were running our family. We have 5 kids. Homeschooling, everyone's at home, running a homestead, a small farm with a ton of animals, huge garden. I was working as a nurse, and we're running this home-based income stream business through YouTube, and we're saying, okay, now I'm gonna actually renovate our house. How's that gonna work? So something had to go. So we're not gonna cut the kids. We're not gonna cut the farm. We're completely dedicated to this lifestyle, especially right now when food insecurity could be a real thing. It's not here really yet, but it's something that's on our minds. We're not going to cut all this out. And so what's left to cut is the YouTube channel
or the nursing
or the nursing job. And to me, that's an easy pick. Here's why. The YouTube channel is something we're growing for ourselves. It's something that we actually get a huge kick out of. It's something we can do from home while we're renovating our house, while we're doing homesteading projects. The other thing though about the nursing job is I can get the nursing job back. The people who I worked with, my boss, were very sad to see me go. They loved having me work there. I enjoyed working where I was working. And there's an open door there as far as going back. Now, I might not have a part-time day shift position. I might have a full-time night shift position. But I can go back at any point. It'll just be like a couple weeks of onboarding, and then I'd be on the floor.
Yeah, so we're not going totally rogue. We're not just wild in our...
We are, though. I quit. I could have taken a PRN, like an as-needed position. That position was available, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to completely cut the cord. So a friend of ours who's from Mennonite backgrounds, and a lot of the Mennonites, if you're not familiar with them, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. They're very independent people, extremely hardworking people. And I was telling him that I have a little bit of kind of fear and trepidation over this decision. And you know what he said?
What?
He said, Arthur, you've been sucking at the teat too long.
Ah, did he really?
He was like... I was like, the whole insurance thing. He was like, Arthur, you've been sucking at the teat too long. I was like, you know what? I like that. I like the attitude.
That is hilarious. I wish I had been there for that conversation.
So we're celebrating our successes, but we're trying to do it humbly, because YouTube is just finicky. It's funny. It can like go down out of your control. Now, generally, what we found is if we're consistent, then we slowly, consistently grow.
But ultimately, we have no control over YouTube. We have no control over what ads they put in front of our videos, how many ads. They could wipe our channel off of YouTube and not even tell us. We just wake up one day and it's gone.
True, and that does happen.
And that does happen.
And then there's just the regular thing is like every January, February, March, there's a huge slump with income because people are paying less for ads. So we're expecting that. Mm-hmm. But we didn't just, it wasn't just crazy that we quit. And actually, this is really interesting. Part of what enabled us to quit, strangely enough, is this pandemic thing. Because gardening, homesteading, content online has done extremely well since March. And it's helped us basically have really strong views to this day. And so that's just this irony. That's kind of a strange coincidence, and it's really a blessing, honestly.
Well, and the irony too, in the way that it actually helped us make this decision, there was a month at the beginning of all of this pandemic where Arthur didn't work. Like, the hospital didn't have patients, and he was basically being sent home.
People were staying at home, basically.
Yeah, so there were no patients, so he was being sent home, and we were able to consistently post, and we realized during that month how lovely it was to not be going between 2 jobs, and to not have 2 or 3 different schedules every week, which sounds very boring, but it was such a blessing to our family to be on the same schedule every day and not have daddy's home schedule, daddy's at work schedule, Sunday schedule. That was kind of when we were like, oh, like this might actually be really, really nice to have you home and to be able to be consistent and also not work 6 days a week, but go to a 5-day work week. We've always worked 6 or even 7 days per week, though we try to really have a rest day. We find it super valuable. Yeah, it's interesting how all this going on in the world has actually encouraged us to make these steps. I just want to say too, we're not making this video. So many of you, I think a lot of you who really care for us are going to say, you don't have to explain anything to us. I just want you to know, like, that's not our heart here. We want to share our joy with you and our excitement, because this decision, although a little bit scary, is also one that we're really excited about and opens so many doors for us to pursue one of our #1 goals, which is fixing our home. And it also has allowed for so many other little things to happen in our life that we didn't exactly expect. Mostly just this consistency of schedule that has been such a blessing to our family. To have evenings together, whereas before Arthur worked evenings or I worked evenings to make these videos. And that's not a bad thing. We did that with joy. We did it because we wanted to. But it's nice to share our joy with you guys, because you want to know what? It's because of you guys, because of your faithfulness in watching our videos and your faithfulness in supporting our family.
Definitely.
Through the ups and downs of 4 years on YouTube. You guys have seen it. You've seen it all, and you have supported us. That's why we're making this video.
That's the disclaimer for our ardent fans. For the people who think we stole the money and ran, know that I'm not quitting my job because we have this big chunk of money in the bank. It actually, the decision was solely based on our basically making the best decision from the standpoint of a monthly income outlook, and saying, okay, is our monthly income to the point where it's not crazy to quit the nursing job and still be able to cover things like insurance and other stuff that comes with a job. So that's our decision was solely based on monthly income.
Speaking of working on the house, a new dumpster just arrived for the big clean out. I mean, we've had so many clean outs, but we got a little burnt out throwing all of our stuff away.
You found a bunch of raspberries?
Yeah.
How
I was
cool.
looking for corn to take to Ben and Meg.
Hey, I think it was deer that got in the corn.
How did they get in here?
Well, they either jumped the fence or just walked in through the gate.
They've never jumped the fence before.
We've never had deer issues like that out here. So quitting wasn't a completely new idea at all. And all these things just about 2 months ago came together. We were like, how are we going to get the house done? Our income was climbing significantly and stably climbing, or consistently climbing. It was the first time that we both had felt open to me quitting my nursing job. Part of the reason I haven't had time to work in the house in the past months is because we were making a lot of YouTube videos, and that was a necessary thing in order to get our income back on track. I had one just kind of burned out with doing all of this stuff back in December. I kind of burn out easy. I hate to say that.
Well, I think part of that is because you're going between 2 different jobs.
And our income was really down, so it was necessary to rebuild that between December and now. And we've done that successfully, and it's really what is allowing us to make this move. And the thing is, if I did the equivalent with nursing, I would be in nursing 5 days a week. I would be working as a nurse like all the time, like 12-hour shifts. I would be gone all the time. And so that's why we're dropping the nursing off.
Because you can do YouTube and build a
Homestead.
house at the same time, and be with your family.
Yeah, because I can keep some income from YouTube, posting videos about projects we're doing on the house. They may be more talking videos, more explaining videos. But I really think that we can continue to tell our story, make some income, and work on the house, and do it all at once.
And I think something that you're forgetting to mention is that originally our plan was to not farm this year. It was to really cut way back, barely have a garden, just a little bit for me to feel good about and to enjoy, because I enjoy gardening. But ultimately was to build our house. But then when the pandemic came, we were like, we don't know what's happening in the world. Everything felt very uncertain, but we knew we could grow food. We know we can grow food, so we need to do that. That food and that kind of security comes above the house, because we're safe. We have a dry, warm, cool, nice place to stay. So we just felt like those two things really, growing the farm again, growing food, preserving food, and building our YouTube income came before our house.
In the level of urgency.
In the level of urgency, yeah, for sure. The farming season is winding down. I still have a lot of food to preserve, but we still have a couple more weeks of like really focusing on farm. But then our focus is totally going to switch, which is going to be nice. It'll be refreshing to do something else. It's that time of year where you're going to like, okay, bring on the cool weather.
It's kind of like when your kids are up at 9 o'clock and you have 5 kids and you're like, guys, it's time to go to bed. You want to put your garden to bed. Yeah. It's like, it's bedtime.
It's bedtime.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Everyone needs to chill out. I'll just sit and watch you sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, we still have a few more. Like I have so many tomatoes to can, and we have eventually sweet potatoes and winter squash to deal with and stuff. And then what else? We need to put the potatoes away. I need to braid the onions and put those up. So we have some harvesting things. We also have a small winter garden we're putting in, our fall garden.
Guys, thanks for joining us. You kind of missed our early excitement. Like in the first few days, we held off a couple weeks before announcing this. But in the earliest days, like we were actually really, really tickled. And we still are, but that excitement's worn off a little bit. And we're kind of into the
groove.
Yeah, the groove and the grind. And it's really good. It's a good schedule. We're enjoying it.
What is that?
You're just trying to get something to pop back in on this truck. Thanks for joining us. We're happy to share this big news with you, and we'll see you tomorrow in another video. Goodbye.